You know, if you just look at the headlines, it seems like the aviation industry is flying high again. But behind the scenes, a really serious warning is coming from the very top of one of its giants, Airbus. The CEO, Guillaume Faury, is sounding an alarm that could honestly redefine the future of flight, and we're going to break down exactly what it all means.
So what's really going on here? Well, in a recently leaked internal memo, the message was crystal clear. Despite how things might look, the company is facing what its CEO calls significant damage from all these global tensions. And this isn't just some run-of-the-mill business forecast. No, this is a direct warning that the fundamental rules of the entire aerospace industry are being rewritten right under our feet.
And this is the phrase that really jumps out from that memo. Faury warns of unprecedented geopolitical risks. See, this isn't about market competition anymore. What he's telling his team is that the entire global landscape is becoming hostile in a way they've just never seen before. And that's setting the stage for a massive strategic shift.
Okay, so where are all these risks actually coming from? Well, the main source is the escalating showdown between the U.S. and China. This has gone way beyond just political talk. It's now causing real, tangible industrial damage, and a global giant like Airbus is caught right in the middle of the crossfire.
This is basically how Airbus is getting squeezed from both sides. On one hand, you've got Washington freezing the export of key American components like engines that are needed for jets built for China. Then on the other hand, China's hitting back with its own restrictions. And here's the real kicker. Airbus jets that are assembled in China rely on those exact same U.S. parts. It's created what Faury calls significant collateral damage.
And you really can't overstate the urgency here. This isn't some problem they're worried about down the road. It's happening right now. All the logistical nightmares and the financial strain from these restrictions are directly hitting the company's bottom line and their delivery schedules. The threat is no longer a threat, it's a reality.
But it's not just an external storm they're dealing with. All this pressure is hitting a company that's already juggling its own internal issues. So while you might be seeing headlines about good financial results, what's happening behind the curtain is, well, it's a lot more complicated than that.
It's almost a tale of two different companies inside one. You've got the Defense and Space Division, which is finally on stronger footing, and the Helicopters Division, which is just a remarkably consistent star performer. But then you look at the Commercial Aircraft Division, the very core of the company, and it's wrestling with major crises. We're talking about the fallout from its biggest ever software recall and flawed fuselage panels that have forced them to slash delivery targets.
And as if all that wasn't enough, there's this one single supply chain headache that's bigger than all the rest: engines. Key engines from huge suppliers like Pratt & Whitney and CFM for the super important A320 family are still showing up late. This creates a massive bottleneck that just ripples through the entire production system, putting an incredible amount of strain on the whole company.
So, with all these pressures, both external and internal, what's the plan? Well, Airbus isn't just trying to survive this, it's launching a long-term strategy to actually dominate. They're calling it the Olympic shape strategy, and it's all about getting ready for the crucial decade ahead.
This is the core message the CEO is drilling into his team. Olympic shape. What does that even mean? Well, think about it. It means peak financial and operational fitness. It's about being leaner, stronger, and way more resilient than the competition to face not just today's problems, but the massive battles that are coming in the 2030s.
So how do they get there? The strategy basically rests on three key pillars. First, build a massive financial war chest to fund huge future projects and ride out any economic storms. Second, achieve profitable growth right now to fuel that war chest. And third, and this is the big one, use all those resources to prepare for the single biggest fight on the horizon.
And that fight is the A320 successor. Now, this is not just about a new plane, this is the next generation battleground. Whichever company wins this race will likely dominate commercial aviation for decades to come. I mean, we're talking about locking in trillions in sales, controlling the global supply chain, and setting the technological standard for how we all fly. Everything Airbus is doing right now is designed to make sure they're the ones who win.
So this brings us to the final crucial question. With all these geopolitical storms brewing, all the internal struggles, and this incredibly ambitious plan, can Airbus actually pull this off? Can they execute this grand strategy while trying to navigate a world that seems to be getting more and more protectionist every single day?
Ultimately, what we're watching here is a real-time test of corporate resilience. The global landscape is, as the source material puts it, sown with difficulties. And in an environment like that, being big just isn't enough anymore. It's all about being adaptable. Survival of the fittest has become survival of the most efficient. That's the new rule of the game.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. Airbus has a clear, bold strategy to get into Olympic shape and win the future. But in a world of trade wars and rising nationalism, even the most brilliant plans can face overwhelming headwinds. The real question is, which force is going to prove stronger in the end?